the five powers. And the first power, the first source of energy is faith. But this is better translated as confidence and trust, as understood by the teaching of Patriarch Linchi. You who don't have enough confidence in yourself, the confidence that you have the capacity of becoming a Buddha, the capacity of transformation and healing, and you are seeking these things outside. You who do not have enough confidence in yourself. So faith, tin should be translated as confidence rather than faith. Because faith is, you have faith on something, someone outside. La confidence and not la foi. And when you have the energy of faith in you, you are very strong. And in the gospel, it is said that if you have faith, you can move a mountain. That's a poetic way of describing that energy. And if you have put into the practice a teaching of the Buddha, and if you find out that teaching is, that practice is effective, it can bring you mindfulness, concentration and joy. And then faith, confidence is born from this, not from someone people say. Faith, confidence, not only in ideas, but in the outcome of your practice. When you practice walking, and if you succeed in mindful walking, you see that you are light, you are solid, you are free, and your confidence is born from that kind of experience. So this is not superstition, this is not relying on something outside, on someone outside of yourself. And this can bring a lot of happiness. If you don't have faith, if you don't have that energy of confidence, you suffer. Even the Buddha is inside. The Dharma, taking refuge in the Buddha, in myself. Taking refuge in the Dharma, in myself. In the Sangha, in myself, is very clear. And the second source of power is Tấn, which means diligence. Diligence. Your daily practice bring about transformation. Diligence in the teaching of the Buddha is very concrete. There are concrete things you do in your daily life, and if you do it every day, that is called diligence. Suppose this is our consciousness, and this is the lower part of our consciousness called store consciousness. It is like the land, the soil, the ground, with many seeds preserved in it. In our store consciousness, there is a seed of joy, of forgiveness, of mindfulness, of concentration, of insight, of equanimity. But there are seeds of anger, of hate, of despair, and so on. And all these seeds are kept by store consciousness. And one of the functions of the store consciousness is to maintain all these kind of seeds. In the upper hamlet, we have the seeds of uragula in the ground. If you work the land and you water, that plant will. They are preserved by the seed. We also have the seed of understanding, compassion, forgiveness in us. We cannot say that I don't have these seeds in me. The seed of awakening, understanding, compassion are always in us. And they are part of your Buddha nature. Your Buddha nature is innate. The problem is how to help this seed to manifest. And you need the practice of watering. You water, not the negative seeds, like the seed of anger, confusion, but you water the seed of mindfulness, concentration, compassion, and so on. And every time a seed is watered, it manifests itself on the upper level of consciousness called mind consciousness. So mind consciousness is like the living room, and store consciousness is like the basement. There are things you don't like to be in the living room, so you put them all in your store consciousness, in a cave. And if we water a seed of joy, of compassion, that seed will manifest itself on the level of mind consciousness, and it can make the living room beautiful, pleasant. When you read an article, when you listen to a conversation, you are watering these seeds. So be aware that the film you watch or the article you read my touch trigger the seed of violence, the seed of despair, and they will manifest here. And diligence here means the practice of selective watering. The first step is that negative seed in store consciousness, if they has not arise, that has not manifested, keep them down there. Don't give them a chance. That's the first step. So in your daily life, be careful not to allow these seeds the chance to manifest. We don't suppress, but we just don't give them a chance. That is why you have practiced yoniso manaskara, means appropriate attention. Manaskara means attention. Yoniso means appropriate attention. When people invite the bell and you pay attention to the bell, suddenly the seed of mindfulness in you is touched and you begin to breathe in and out mindfully. And paying attention to the sound of the bell is appropriate attention. In your practice center, in your family, you should have sound, sight that can help you touch the wholesome thing within yourself, and try to not to expose the sight and the sound that will touch off the negative, the seed of craving, the seed of anger in you. This is the first practice, and you need intelligence in order to practice that. You have your partner, you have your children, you have your friends. Protect them. Create a kind of environment where they don't touch the things that bring about the watering of the negative seeds. So the fifth mindfulness training is about mindful consumption, and the kind of consumption that will not touch off these seeds of violence, of craving, and despair in us. So the negative seed, if they have not arise, do your best to keep them there. Don't give them a chance. The second step of diligence is that if it happens that it has been touched and it has manifested, the negative one, and then with intelligence, help them to go home to this place. And there are many ways you can do that. It's like you have a compact disc. You have taken the wrong compact disc, and when you play, well, it's not pleasant. So you just stop and you change the CD. And when the new CD is played, well, it's very pleasant. So the Buddha, at his time, he did not have a compact disc. So he used the image of the pack, a changing pack. A carpenter, in order to link the two pieces of wood, use a pack. And when the pack is not good, it cannot stand. And then you can use a new pack and drive the old pack out. So that's change. Change your idea. Change the object of your mind consciousness. If an idea is negative, full of craving or anger manifest, you can use your mindful breathing and touch another seed that is wholesome here and invite it to come up. And if it is interesting enough, and the other seed will go down. But it should be more interesting. Otherwise you will be fighting. So with skillfulness, with intelligence, we practice the second step in order to change the situation, helping the negative thing to go down here and helping the positive thing to come up. And when the positive things are up here, the living room is occupied, and no chance for the other guests to come. That is about the negative seed. Now we come to the third, which is a positive seeds. Positive, wholesome seeds in stock consciousness, if they have not manifest, help them to manifest. Read something, say something, watch something that will water the seed of compassion, of loving kindness in you, so that it will manifest here. That's the first step. If you come to the practice center, that is exactly what to do. You have come in order to expose your stock consciousness, so that the Dhamma talk, the bell, the sight of brothers and sisters walking will touch off the seed of peace and happiness and calm in you. So that is the third step. You have to organize your life in such a way that the good seeds in you be touched several times a day, so that they can manifest themselves on that level of mind consciousness. And that can be done very quickly. You invite a wonderful guest to be in the living room, they will change the whole situation. And the fourth step is when the good mental formation has already manifest, try to keep them as long as possible in your living room. It's so pleasant to have a friend, a good friend, sitting in the living room. If there is a rain, and then you say, my dear friend, it's raining outside, so stay and have another cup of tea. You try to persuade your good friend to stay as long as possible. Because according to Buddhist psychology, the longer the mental formation stay here, the stronger it will grow at the base. This applies to the positive as well as the negative. If you entertain craving here for 5 minutes, and the seed of craving here have 5 minutes in order to grow, dangerous. That is why you are advised by the Buddha to help this to go home as soon as possible, and to invite the good thing to come up. And when the good thing has come up, try to preserve them here as long as possible, because during the time it continue to be here, its base down there will be strengthened. So the practice is very clear, very precise. And when you use your intelligence, your skillfulness to organize your practice, this is called true diligence. And true diligence can bring a lot of joy, a lot of happiness to you and to your beloved one. So this confidence, faith, diligence, and the third source of power you already know. This is mindfulness. The fourth is concentration. And the fifth is insight. Because the insight is the fruit of mindfulness and concentration. And when you have the insight has the power of liberating you. It is by ignorance that we suffer. But when we begin to touch the insight, we have the insight touching our true nature, no birth, no death. There's no longer any fear. There's a compassion. There's acceptance. There's tolerance. And that is why insight is a tremendous source of happiness. The other day we learned that we can bring in the feeling of joy and happiness by letting go, and then the second source of happiness and joy is mindfulness. The third is concentration. And today we add three others: faith, diligence, and insight. And let us explore the five powers in order to create the source, the foundation for happiness. And happiness is here is not made of the five kind of craving, like wealth, fame, power, sex, and so on. It is made with the practice of the five powers.